See, the stuff with the socialism and the living off the land, that all sounds very nice. But then the re-enslavement and the exclusion,
not so nice.
It's hard to fathom that the same person would be into both.
Well, remember, this was one of the keys of Nazi appeal, and Hitler's appeal in particular, is he was a bit of a chameleon. You know, when he talked to workers, he said, "I'm for the workers." When he talked to wealthy industrialists, he said, "I'm for industry." And when he talked to everyone, it was always about national strength. You know, it never really was a very coherent ideology to begin with. So the fact that this kind of confuses a lot of different things actually makes sense, considering what the Nazis actually did and how they pitched themselves. But I mean, Pelly was clearly a kind of pitchman and a storyteller, and it should come as no surprise that he spent time in Hollywood as a successful screenwriter in the early 1920s. So the dude was used to making a pitch and writing a story. Now, later down the line, a congressional committee would later characterize these silver shirts as probably the largest, best financed, and best publicized Nazi copycats in the United States.
Okay.
And Pelly himself was quite the character. He reportedly traveled with 40 armed bodyguards, and members were advised to keep sawed-off shotguns and 2,000 rounds of ammunition in their homes to protect, quote, white Christian America.
Right. I mean, I from experience, when you start arming your followers, it's usually days are numbered kind of stuff. You know, when I've seen documentaries on Netflix about cults, where all the members start, you know, amassing weapons and guns and holding up in a house and start preparing for the big day. I'm like, okay, this isn't going to end well.
Never a good sign, especially with things like prophecy are involved.
Especially when you got God on your side. Isn't that enough?
Oh, geez. Well, every army that's ever marched in the world has always said that God's on their side. It's a commonality.
It's a good day for God. War, isn't it? You can't lose.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If you lose, then God doesn't get blamed. They just say, oh, he has a plan.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, if they're marching for white Christian America, you can guess which groups are going to be excluded from that plan: African Americans and Jewish people. The Smithsonian Magazine will name Murphy Ranch as a place Pelly's followers began constructing to become the base of pro-Nazi operations in the U.S.
Okay.
And it sounds like it, doesn't it? I mean, the self-sufficiency, arming, preparations for the fall of America.
All those steps as well. You've got to be really into the cause, you know, with just the energy of kind of chiseling into the hills, thinking, oh, goddamn foreigners. That's going to energize you. You've got to really, all the way up.
Yeah. So here's one of the worst parts, is that this was the largest, best financed actual Nazi copycat organization, but there was an even larger pro-Nazi organization in America called the German American Bund. They had about 30,000 members at one point. And they had enough members to run several summer camps for American Nazi youth. Remember, that was a big part of the German Nazi program, is these youth camps, like get them when they're young, you know, indoctrinate them, and then you'll have them for their whole lives, right? So what effect do these factions actually have on America? Well, most pro-Nazi groups were on the fringes of public life, but they definitely created an atmosphere of uncertainty in a country where the Depression had called into question the virtues of capitalism and democracy.
Okay, so this nationalist, socialist, what were they called, the Nazis, before they were?
Nationalist, socialist, yeah.
So this kind of, these ideals were appealing because people were thinking, oh, maybe the old system doesn't work.
Well, people were considering fringe ideas in a way that they might not have considered before, because they'd lost trust in the system. I mean, the Depression was crushing for so many families, people losing their jobs, losing their homes, being, you know, forced to migrate to look for work. It was really not a good time. And America was, you know, just coming out of it in the late 1930s when what is going to become the world's most devastating war breaks out.